Alright, welcome to module 2 of this training, the Digital Product Creation Masterclass. And in this class, we're going to talk about planning your digital product. How do you plan out what you're going to create? First is starting by defining your product scope and goals and creating a project plan and timeline, gathering resources and tools, as well as setting milestones and deadlines. Alright, so let's get started with the very first point about what we're going to cover in this class, which is defining your product scope and goals. To do this, you need to identify your objectives and define your target audience, outline your product features, and then set SMART goals. The first step in planning your digital product is to clearly define your scope and goals. This will provide a roadmap for your project and ensure you stay focused throughout the creation process. Right? And to do this, you have to first identify your objective, determine what you want to achieve with your digital product. Right? Are you looking to generate revenue, build brand authority, or provide value to your audience? Clear objective regarding your decision-making process. Second thing, define your audience, your target audience, right? So specify who your product is for. Your product cannot be for everybody. No product in the world can serve everybody all at the same time. So you have to be able to specify which who your target audience are. Rather, you have to be able to specify who your target audience are, who your product is meant to serve. Understand your audience needs, their preferences and pain points. We help you to tailor your product to meet their expectations. And then the next thing is make sure that you outline your product features. Alright, list out the key features and components of your digital product. Whether it's an ebook you're trying to create, whether it's a video course or software, whatever kind of digital product you're trying to create, you have to detail out the features which will help you to understand the scope of the work that you are embarking on. And then finally, make sure that you set SMART goals. Alright, SMART goals are goals that are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. This is what we call SMART goals. And your being able to define your SMART goals is very important because you might even include things like your sales target, how much sales you want to make, how much audience you want to reach, and even what are the target engagement metrics you're looking to achieve. All right, being able to set these kind of SMART goals will help you to have a holistic view of what your product is about and everything that you're supposed to cover, and then how much time and resources do you need to put into it in order to get it completed. Right? The second thing is creating a project plan and timeline. When you've set up your objective and goals for the product, the next step that you need to take is to be able to create your project plan and the timeline. This is a well-structured project plan and timeline. Having a well-structured project plan and timeline, they are very important for you to keep your project on track. All right, and there are a few steps that you need to take in order for you to be able to create a project plan and timeline. The first thing you need to do is you need to be able to break down tasks. All right, divide the entire project into smaller, manageable tasks. This could include research, content creation, design, marketing, and even distribution. All right, so you should also be able to assign responsibilities. If you're working with a team, assign tasks to specific team members based on their skills and expertise. And also, you have to have clear delegation and ensure that there is accountability and efficiency in your team or amongst your team members. Right? The next thing that you need to do in planning your project and putting it in a timeline is making sure that you have an established timeline. All right, you need to be able to set realistic deadlines for each task and phase of your project. If you don't do this, you're going to end up creating that like forever. You're going to be on one task forever because you don't have a timeline, you don't have a deadline for each task that you have on your project plan. All right, so you need to probably make use of things like project management tools like Trello, Asana, or Monday.com. There are several other of them out there that you can make use of depending on what is important to you. And you can even make use of a spreadsheet to create this yourself. The only disadvantage of that is that it's more of a manual work than when you're using these other platforms that are really created for project management. But you can use project management tools, that's the point I'm trying to make. You can use project management tools to visualize your timeline and then track your progress, all right? And then finally, you should be able to determine dependencies, all right? What we call dependencies are tasks that are dependent on others in order for you to achieve results. Right? You need to determine which tasks depend on the completion of others. Understanding dependencies helps you to create some kind of to give your project outline or workflow some sort of sequence, all right? So you have some sort of logicality and sequence to your flow of tasks. So this will help you to avoid some bottlenecks in planning your project and all that. So very important, you need to create a project plan and then have a timeline so that you can be well guided throughout your project. And doing that, like I said, break down the tasks, assign responsibilities, make sure you establish a timeline, and then you have to make sure that you understand what tasks depends on others in order for you to achieve maximum results and in a timely way. Alright, having said that, the next that we're going to look at is you need to also know what resources and tools that you need in order to complete your project creation. Now, to create a high quality digital product, you need the right resources and tools. And there are just a few number of them that I want to talk about in this course. The first might be things like content creation tools. Depending on your product type or what type of product you're trying to create, you might need writing softwares like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and even video editing tools like Adobe, and several of them out there. You can go out and search what different types of materials that you might need in completing your type of product that you're trying to create. Then the next one is research materials. You definitely don't know everything, so you should be able to make use of some tools like collecting some research papers, articles, books, or other things that have valuable information that will help you in creating some quality content for your products, whatever kind of product it is. And then these resources will help you to create well-informed and authoritative content. Right? So you need to know what tools that you need depending on what type of product that you're trying to create. Then the next one is what type of hardware would you also need? You should be able to ensure that you have the necessary hardware, such as things like reliable computer, camera, microphone, lighting equipment, especially if you're creating videos or podcasts. Then another type of resources or tools that you also should look out for if you need them should be things like marketing materials or marketing tools. And to plan for marketing tools like you should have plan for marketing tools like email marketing software such as MailChimp, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Drip, GetResponse, and things like that. And you should also look out for social media management platforms or tools like Buffer, Hootsuite, and etc. And then very importantly, if you're looking to leverage data, you should look at analytical platforms like Google Analytics, SEMrush, and several of them out there. Now, being able to identify what resources and tools that you need will be very, very important for you to in completing your product creation process. Because if you don't know what you need, that will enhance your creation process, or that will improve the efficiency of your product creation process. You're going to have a hard time completing what you've started. Alright, so that's why it's very important for you to pay attention to the tools and resources that you might need in order for you to complete your product creation process and have a completed product out there in the market. Like we talked about, your content creation tools are very important. You should also look out for your research materials, the hardware that you need, as well as the marketing tools that you should have at your disposal. Right? Having said that, the next that I want to talk about is being able to set milestones and deadline. Now, you might notice that in this class, I've talked about setting deadlines, milestones, timelines, and things that I've talked about like twice or several times in this course. The reason why we have to go back again and again on this area is that it's very important. more often than not, I have seen a lot of people starting to create digital product without finishing them. Right? The thing is, it is easy to start, but it's not easy to complete. So if you don't have a milestone or deadline set up, you might actually end up creating one product for so long, and by the time you're done creating it, it might be outdated. You might no longer need that. So that's why it's important for you to be able to set milestones and deadlines while creating your digital product. So setting milestones and deadlines is very important for maintaining momentum and ensuring that timely completion of your product, of your project is, that's it. And to be able to set milestones and deadlines that will help you complete your project, there are a few things I probably need to tell you that will help you to be able to set milestones and deadlines. First thing is, you need to be able to define what key milestones are in your project product creation process. Right? Setting deadlines is very important, like I said. So you should also be able to identify major milestones in your project. For instance, completing a research might be a milestone to, like in the previous class, we talked about market research, we talked about product idea research, we talked about product validation processes and all that. Now, completing these steps might be something that you can classify as a milestone, right? And then the next milestone might be creating the content that you need, and then the design that you need, and then your marketing preparation. This might be different stages of your product creation process, but you should be able to ideate them and put them into, put them into a milestone, and then attach a deadline to them, each them, so that you will be able to, be well guided and have a direction, as well as have some sort of discipline to what you're doing, right? Then the second step to setting milestones and deadline for your project is setting realistic goals. All right, you need to be able to assign deadlines to each milestone and task that you have, and ensure that deadlines are achievable to avoid burnout and maintain quality. All right, factor in some important time buffers for unexpected delays. And another thing that you need to also be able to monitor the process of your product creation process. All right, so you need to regularly review your progress against the set deadlines or milestones that you have, and also use project management to track completed tasks and upcoming deadlines. All right, and then you should also remain flexible. All right, make sure that you're flexible enough to accommodate some kind of adjustment that might be necessary in the whole process. So you need to be able to adjust based on needs. All right, so be flexible and willing to adjust your plan if necessary. And if you encounter any significant challenges or delay, you need to also be able to reassess your timeline and make adjustments in order for you to stay on track. Now, meticulously planning your digital product creation process, defining the scope and goals of your project, creating detailed project plan and outline, gathering resources, and setting clear milestone and deadline will set you up for a smooth and successful product creation process. Now, this structured approach will help you to stay organized, focused, and motivated throughout the entire journey. Alright, so that's where we come to the end of this class. And in the next class, we're going to talk about creating your digital product proper. How do you actually go into the studio? How do you go into your creativity room? How do you actually put all of the ideas that you have, all of the processes that we've talked about in the previous two classes? How do you bring everything to fruition? How do you bring life to them? How do you bring your product out? All right, I'll see you in the next class where we'll talk about creating your digital products. Thank you very much.